So last time we looked at James 1:23 and 24, where James uses the analogy of a mirror to describe the Word of God. And he talks about the importance of when we look into the mirror of the Word and we see what needs to be done, we need to do something about it. We need to change something. We can't just turn and walk away and leave ourselves in disarray, spiritually speaking. And he follows this up in verse 25. Let me read it for you. But the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. There's so much in this verse I want you to notice. First of all, again, in describing the Word of God, he calls it something different this time. He calls it the perfect law. And then he uses a phrase that I think is very interesting, the law of liberty. Now, isn't it strange to think about a law being a law of liberty or a law bringing freedom? Often we hear people, and perhaps even we ourselves have said, oh boy, the truth of the Word of God is so restrictive. It really hems in our lives and our behaviors. And certainly, probably most of us have tried to share Christ with people who do not know the Lord, who've said, oh boy, but if I do that, then I have to give up this. And I don't know how that's going to impact my life, or if I really want to make that kind of sacrifice or that kind of change. But notice that James says, this law is a law of liberty. When we do follow the Word of God, it brings us tremendous freedom. And perseveres, he says, looks into the perfect law of liberty, the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen overnight. But when we persevere, when we continue to live the truth of the Word of God, to be obedient, this is when we see the changes take place in our lives that bring freedom, that bring peace. He goes on, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts. We need to be doers of the Word of God. Now, I'm thankful on Sunday mornings when I get up front and I teach, I'm thankful that people are there to hear. But hearing is not the end game. We hear so that we can do. Let's go out and do these things. I'm a very practical person. Why does this matter? What do we do with what we know? How do we change? And James goes on to say that the doer who acts on the truth of the Word of God, the perfect law of liberty, he will be blessed in his doing. My friends, God will always reward the one who hears the Word of God and does it.